We told you how New Jersey hides $1 billion a year in budget resolutions. Now I want to show you the part Democrats hide inside the hiding. Here's the trick. Budget resolutions are supposed to tell you who sponsored a spending request and why. That's the whole point of nearly 2 decades of reforms. Show us the sponsor, show us the amount, show us the reason, all on the record. But here's what actually happens after the resolutions are drafted and before you ever see them. It's politics. And politics needs time to get its story straight. Sponsors get swapped. The name attached to an item isn't always the name that asked for it. The explanations, the why, that gets scrubbed, sanitized. The embarrassing reason quietly disappears before the public ever gets a look. That's why they need weeks to release. Government records be damned. These are supposed to be public documents. Instead, they're treated like first drafts. Nobody's allowed to see until the edits are done. So by the time you finally see a resolution, 7 weeks after the governor signed the budget, you're not looking at what happened. You're looking at what they've decided you're allowed to see. That's not transparency. That's a rewrite. This year, Assembly Republicans said, enough. We filed 0 budget resolutions. Not because our districts don't need funding, they do. Just like every district in this state. But because every resolution we filed would have been one more stamp of approval on a process we don't believe is legitimate. Play along and you're telling people it's fine. It's not fine. And this year, Democrats found a second trick. Instead of running the Christmas tree spending through the normal budget process, they moved it into a supplemental spending bill, a vehicle specifically chosen to keep separate and harder to track. They did eventually release the supplemental resolutions too, 7 weeks late, on a Friday, in August. But at least this year they released them, which tells you everything about how low the bar has gotten in Trenton. Here's the scale of what they moved off the books. 488 changes to the governor's proposed budget. 413 of them increased spending. Roughly $370 million in new pork in the budget bill, another $120 million in the supplemental, and $285 million more added to Christmas tree items already in the budget. Nearly $500 million in pet projects in a budget the governor signed 28 minutes before the midnight deadline. And buried in the resolutions, 16 line items where sponsors had to disclose a personal or family connection to the entity receiving the money. Family members who worked at a place receiving millions. Some of those might be entirely proper under the rules as written, but taxpayers deserve to know that up front, not buried in a document released on a Friday afternoon in August, 7 weeks after the check was already signed. Here's the part that should really bother you. When Governor Sherrill took office, she said herself, and I'm quoting directly from her March 10th budget address, "Our work starts by ending previous administration's habit of tacking last-minute giveaways onto each budget. These days, we simply can't afford that." That was the deal she offered taxpayers. So look at what's actually been released. Nearly $500 million in pet projects. A supplemental bill that routed another $350 million outside the normal budget process, with resolutions that took 7 weeks to surface after the money was already spent. The accountability the governor herself demanded, show us what got cut to pay for what got added, still hasn't been explained. Taxpayers are covering the difference either way. And let's be clear about the scale. This is the largest budget in New Jersey history. Record spending and still no answer on what was actually cut to pay for it. You cannot have a surplus and a growing deficit at the same time. New Jersey has a deficit. It started this fiscal year at $1.5 billion. By year's end, it had doubled, and Democrats still found nearly $500 million to hand out and another $350 million to move outside the normal process entirely. Sponsors changed after the fact. Reasons sanitized before release. A governor's own standard for accountability quietly forgotten once the ink had dried. That's not reform. That's a system built to protect Trenton from what you demand. We're asking for the real resolutions, the real sponsors, the real reasons, a full accounting of the supplemental bill, and an honest answer. Was spending actually cut to match what was added or not? Taxpayers paid for it. Taxpayers get to see it. I'm Assemblyman Mike Inganamort. It's time to turn the lights on.